Hello, this is Mike Ryan, VisNetic MailFlow Product Manager at Deerfield Communications. I wanted to produce a quick video demonstrating new agents and how they can get started using the software. So first of all, let's log into our MailFlow. What I generally like to do is direct agents first to the Preferences area on the left menu. This is where agents can customize the look and feel of their MailFlow. You'll be able to see you can choose different themes and so forth. Here's a particular feature that I like to set, keep sent messages in outbox for at least, I think the default is 0, which means it sends immediately. I like to change this to 1 because what this will do is when I send a reply to an email, it will sit in my outbox for 1 minute before spooling to the customer. So that minute allows me to add an attachment if I forgot it, or if I wanted to add some additional information to the email that I forgot to when I hit the send button. So it's just kind of a safeguard that allows me to retrieve that message for up to a minute before that spools to the customer. Also, if it's not already been set for you, the various ticket boxes that are configured in the system would all be listed here. You would select those that are pertinent to you. Same would apply to agent views. All of your coworkers, agents that are configured in the system would be listed here, and you could add their view, which is be added to the left here, called agent views. Signatures, you can define your own signatures here and your default signatures. You can customize a dictionary, create folders, a My Alerts section. This one in particular is certainly worth pointing out. I've created some alerts here that if one of my coworkers actually assigns a ticket to me, I'm notified of that. If a customer replies to an email correspondence that I've had with them, I can be notified of that as well, that there's been an inbound message to a ticket that I'm working on. Okay, so that's a quick look at preferences. Let's go ahead and click on an actual ticket box here. In the VisNetic sales ticket box, this number 10 signifies that there's actually 10 tickets in the ticket box that need to be replied to. So let's just take this last one here. We'll expand the plus sign. We'll see the email from the customer. They're asking what payment options are available to us. So one of the nice things about MailFlow is you have the ability to create a standard response library. Standard responses are common questions to frequently asked questions. Or I'm sorry, common answers to frequently asked questions. So you can build your standard response library, and this just saves your agents time in providing the correct information in a very uniform manner to your customers. So I would hit the reply button at this point, very similar to any email client. I know I have a standard response asking about which payment options I have, so I can hit the insert response button, go in here, click my standard response, and there it is. It inputs all of this information into the body of the email, account numbers and so on and so forth. So I can still go in here, edit this message as I need to, but what it does is it prevents me from having to find some text file on my desktop in some folder and do a copy and paste, and all that just wastes time. So, and what I have on my desktop is different than one of my other coworkers and how I would respond to this question. So you can build this standard response library, and all of your agents across the board can be using the same information. Some other features in here: route replies to me, or close ticket after sending. Both of these have yes/no options here. Route replies to me. What this applies to, when I hit this send button and this message goes back out to Rachel, the fact that I have this set to route replies to me, what I've done is kind of taken temporary personal ownership of this thread of correspondence. So should Rachel reply to this ticket, that email would come back into my Tickets shortcut, which is somewhat like my own personal inbox. Each agent has one. So it would come back into My Tickets rather than into the general VisNetic sales as no owners to the ticket. So what I've done is I've taken temporary ownership of that thread. Close ticket after sending, again, yes, no. One of the ideas with an email management system is to keep the volume of email in your inbox to manageable levels. Okay, so unlike Outlook or other email clients, when you reply to that email in your inbox, that original message is still there. So you've got to do something with it. You've got to either delete it, drag it off to some folder, or somehow try to organize that. With an email management system such as MailFlow, it's all done for you automatically. So what we want to do, the goal is at the end of the day, at the end of the shift, you want to have cleared out or zeroed out, replied to as many of those emails in that ticket box as possible. So right now there's 10 in there. As soon as I send this message back out to Rachel, the fact that I have this set to close after send, that means that this number will be reduced to 9. Rachel receives the email, and there's no indication to her that we have closed the ticket. It's just a way, again, of managing our email on the back end. So if Rachel should happen to reply to that email comes back into the MailFlow system. MailFlow is smart enough to recognize that this is a reply to an existing ticket. It'll reopen that ticket and thread this new piece of correspondence into that ticket. Okay, so it automatically will reopen that message thread. So that's a couple options there. You can choose text or HTML formatting if you want to bold stuff and change the color of the fonts and so forth. It'll do a spell check when I hit the send button. Attachments, I can add attachments. You just browse to choose your file and add it there. You add attachments one at a time that way. So that's a little bit about sending messages. Let's just go ahead and X out of this. Some other information that would be relevant to an agent. Depending on the nature of the email or the question that they're asking, it may be necessary to look back. Have we ever had any correspondence from this particular contact before? So there's a couple ways to determine that. Right here, hit this view button. We can look at contact history. And what this will do, this will open up every email that not just myself, but anyone in our organization has had with Rachel Smith. So I can actually go in here and I could expand each one of these tickets and I could review that correspondence. You know, maybe Rachel is asking about some quote that she was given 3 months ago. Well, we can go back and we can review via our email what information was provided to her. So is it accurate? You know, do we have the information that we need to reply to her? So that's one way we can view that customer contact history right there. So looking up here at the toolbar here, you'll see there's a number of different icons and whatnot we can choose from. One that I like to use probably most frequently is this ticket with the little pencil up here. I click on it. This is called ticket properties. What this allows me to do is I can change the ownership of the ticket. If this particular email is maybe better answered by one of my coworkers, I can always go here and select owner and assign it, directly to Carly if I wanted to. Or if even though it was sent into the sales, maybe it's a support issue. So rather than forwarding this email and essentially changing the reply to address and all that, I can very easily just select this and assign it to the support ticket box. So I can move messages, move tickets around the system by using this ticket properties dialog box here. I can change the state of a ticket here. Right now it's open. If I need to do some additional research, I can place this ticket on hold and maybe add a little note here that I'm looking into this or whatever. And so when I save it, I've not replied to the email yet, but you'll notice that there's a different icon here associated with this ticket. When I hover over it, it says that it's on hold. So maybe one of my coworkers or supervisor might look, well, why hasn't this payment options been replied to yet? Well, when they expand this, they'll see that Mike has left a note that he's looking into this. So now I know that Mike's working on it, and I can move on with my other duties. So again, that's adding notes to tickets that way. We can add some additional information by clicking this notepad up at the top of the toolbar here. And so we can add additional notes. We can also add attachments to the notes. Now keep in mind that these notes are internal to MailFlow. The customers never see the note system whatsoever. So it's just a way of adding some additional information or background information to a ticket. Maybe you've had a telephone conversation with this individual and you want to record that to associate it with this email, or you've had to ask a coworker for some additional information. So you take some notes and you add it here. So now not only are those notes available to me, but they're available to everyone in the organization that has access to MailFlow. They can always review that thread of correspondence, those notes, those attachments that are associated with those threads. And I don't have to go searching from one employee's desktop email client to another, and all of it is consolidated into the email management system. So let's go ahead and X out of that. Some other things up here, some other icons. You can take ownership of tickets. You can make copies of tickets. Maybe this email is a reply that doesn't necessarily warrant a reply back out to the customer. So I can, and we don't want to delete tickets necessarily. So what I might want to do is just simply close the ticket. So I can go up here in this checkbox, select the close button, and I can leave a little note as maybe why I'm closing it without a reply and so forth. But there's another little feature here called automatically reopen. So when I enable it, this is kind of like a tickler file. I can click in here, and maybe this is somebody that I want to follow up with next week. So I can always click in here. I'm going to say next Tuesday, I want this ticket to reopen. And it'll have a little note with it, and it'll signify that the little special little icon that has been reopened, and it just serves as a reminder for me to follow up with Rachel. She's asked about payment options. It's a good lead, so I might want to follow up with her, and it prevents me from having to take a sticky note and save it on the corner of my monitor, or add something to my calendar or whatnot. I can do it, keep it all within MailFlow. So let's just go ahead and cancel out of that. So we're looking at across toolbar across here, you can change your column width, so you can do all that kind of stuff. We talked about preferences. Here's the standard response library where you can create categories, and then within those categories you can create your actual standard responses. Ticket search. We'll click on ticket search. Now you can see this entire page is devoted to locating matching tickets, emails. So if you know the exact ticket number, you can enter the ticket number there, or the subject line, or maybe you just know the domain name of the email address for the company. You can enter that information in here. But you can see on this page the variety of criteria that you can set when you're searching the MailFlow database to retrieve messages from a particular individual, or anything that meets the criteria that you set here. So that's the ticket search feature. Contacts, you have searchable contacts. You can find contacts in here. Contacts are those that have emailed you. MailFlow automatically creates a contact record for every email that is received into the system, and so we capture the name, the email address, but then you can always go back in and add additional properties to that contact record. If you want to add their telephone number, if you want to add their company information and so forth, you can go in and add that. So you're building a global contact record space within MailFlow, and again, not dispersed amongst everybody's email clients or desktops. It's all contained in one secure location within MailFlow. So that's a very quick look at kind of a getting started from an agent perspective within MailFlow. There are other features, reporting and administration, if you have the appropriate access rights and so forth. But anyways, that's a quick look. There'll be more tips and tricks videos coming to our YouTube channel soon. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Drop us an email, sales@visnetic.com. Once again, this is Mike Ryan from Deerfield Communications. Thank you.